Okay, work in progress 2 on the 1/60th NeoGrade Sazabi. So last one, got the legs and the waist all sanded and fitted, just kind of loosely. Now I'm working on the waist or the body. So the first problem I ran into is that, and I had this on the first one, is that the waist part, this is actually the waist part here, the holes don't line up on this part. So what I've done so far is I've just drilled out these holes a little bit bigger, and now this part won't go in. Now I've got to do the same thing with these holes, because if I try to put this on, they just don't line up for some. Oh, now it lines up. I was just drilling out the hole a little bit bigger, and I'm just doing it by hand, just so it's a good fit. But now that fits, and again, I didn't use a drill, but now it's a nice tight fit. And this will all get glued together later down the road. What I can do is, since we're not using the button battery, again, I'm doing this in phases. I'm doing like a fitting cleanup phase, and then I'm going to do a pinning phase of the build, and then I'm going to do a lighting phase. So we're going to do this in phases. So now this should go in here and fit. Just like that. Okay. So that fits together there. I've already re-scribed these panel lines. I haven't done any sanding. But this is where the stock button battery goes. But I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lose this entire portion and drill a hole here. And that way I can have wires kind of all meeting in the middle here. So this is, again, this may fall apart. We'll see, because nothing's pinned. So that sits on top. And you can see he's kind of crooked. Nothing is solidified yet. So once we start getting things pinned, he'll stand more straight. So I'm thinking I might just lose that this center part altogether and drill a hole here. That way I have room for wires and stuff to kind of come in and connect. So I'm gonna have wires coming up from the arms down to get power, and I gotta have wires from the head to come down to get power. So yeah. So again, same process as the legs and everything. There's a few little tricky parts in here. We've got some hinges and stuff for the head. The head and the chest opens because initially in the stock option, there's a button that you can push to turn the head on. But again, it's the same process. It's just cleaning and sanding. So I'm not going to probably film a lot of it until I get to something where it's kind of put together. So the first work in progress is fairly long because it's showing you the process. If I get to something where I'm going to pin, I'll show you how I pin. It's pretty easy, but again, a lot of the stuff doesn't get pinned just because of the design of the kit. I haven't put any magnets in yet, but I actually need to order some. I'm low on magnets, at least the size I need. But I can kind of show you how this goes together for the body. So we got the waist. That's the part with the battery button. This is the top. So this is the neck area. And then this is held together with 2 side panels here. This is where kind of the mechanical details are like that. So I'm thinking that this will all probably get glued together. I'm thinking, I don't know. And then the arms actually fit into these guys. And it's pretty interesting. It's pretty amazing that the arms really only are supported by these blocks here. Now I may put some magnets in there because there's some nice resin here to put a magnet in once these are in. But I need some cleanup. There's some resin sludge in there where this is not fitting. Actually, it may be site specific. Let's see. I don't think it is, but it might be. There we go. That snaps in there. So the arms are really just supported by those keys. So that goes like that. Let's see, this one will go in. Yeah, I gotta do some sanding. Again, I haven't done any cleanup on these parts, so it's a tight fit right now. I don't want to force it. Oh, I see there's a little residue here from the mold right here. Just shave that off. go in. At least it should. There we go. So that goes like that. And then these are the outside covers for that part right there. Again, there's no cleanup, so this may not fit exactly. Oh, yeah, because I got some gates and stuff I got to take care of. And some of these keys have sludge in them, resin sludge I got to clean out, but I'll give you a sense of the size of this guy too. And it goes like this. And there's a bunch of smaller pieces, like little vents and stuff that go underneath here. Let's see, for the neck. So this is the inside mechanical little part right here. This is where like all the little sliding mechanisms go for opening the chest to get to the battery. This plugs in here like this. Maybe. Again, there's no cleanup, so it may not fit. Yeah. But anyway, you can get the sense of the size of this guy. And there we go. Things start falling off. So I'm gonna, before I forget to pick this piece up, I'm just gonna start cleaning up these pieces and working on them if I come up to something interesting that's different from what I've been doing, I'll stop and show you. But again, it's scribing, sanding, and that's really it for now. So I'll come back later with something to show you that's more interesting. Okay, so I've gotten to kind of like the fidgety part of the kit, which is the hatch mechanism on the upper torso. I went ahead and glued these two pieces together. That just gives me a solid base to work from getting things lined up. I've got some resin sludge to clean up in here. For these side pieces to go in, this goes in here, and this goes around the back. I'll just show you real quick how this goes together. For the cables, the waist cables, this fits really well. And then this goes in here. Actually, there's two pieces here for ease of painting. So I'll show you how this all goes together. It's a little easier. So this goes in like that. There's an arrow on the top of this to tell you that it goes on top. Then this slides on top of there. And then this cable comes in here for the waist. I think so. Is this the right one? These are labeled. Oh, I haven't cleaned that one up. That's not the right one yet. That's the left side. But these are, again, side specific. So that's going to go in there. But this piece is not going in all the way. I've got to clean up some of that resin sludge. There's some little detail parts that go in here. I've already cleaned those up. So I'm going to just take that off for now because that's not necessary for what I'm working on. So the way this whole thing works is we have a little 3D printed hinge part here, which goes to this bottom part here. And this is really important only if you're going to use the button switch to turn the light off on the head. But I'm going to make it active. I'm going to make it work anyway because it is kind of cool to open this up and show some of the mechanical details within that area of the kit. So we're going to work on it and get it all fitting and working. Okay, so this part just slides out like that. Okay. This part here goes here. And where's the bottom part? Here it is, right here. So we got this little bottom part and this piece right here. So you got to paint all this and then put it together. This part slides in like this. And then you got to rotate this. You got to put it in from the top and then rotate it around. And that just creates a hinge because this will get glued onto here like this. And these two keys, so these go into here. And once that's solid, this just creates a little hinge point for this to come up and down. Okay. And that nests in there like this. Again, this is still kind of fidgety because nothing's glued. I installed a couple of magnets that came with the kit here because those correspond to the magnets up here. And this part, okay, so this upper part right here, actually I've been heating it up a little bit. It's a little too squished, and I had this on my personal kit because we have this hinge here, which slides in this up here, and you gotta, in order to get the fit, you gotta pull these apart a little bit right now, because there's two keys that line up right there and right there, and that fits. But then there's no, it's too tight for this little hinge mechanism to work. So I gotta work on trimming and fitting and all that fun stuff. I was working on that here just a second ago, so I got some sludge in there. I think I may just sand the inside edges of these a little bit, because you don't see them when everything's put together. Maybe that may be a little easier than trying to get this to bend out. I got to bend it out a little bit anyway for things to fit, but this will get glued in place. And then from there, we have this piece here. This is where that button would go if we're going to use the button. I did pin these two pieces together just so I have a solid base to work from. So I put some 1/16 inch brass rods in there. That's a little overkill, but that just keeps it together while I work on it, really, more than anything. And then, let's see. Oh, so these keys here correspond to these keys here, which then locks in this hinge all inside there. Okay. And then this goes on top here. And with that hinge in place and that other inner part in place, it lines up the bodies, these two pieces a little bit better, because that was kind of not lining up exactly. But you can kind of see here how this all kind of nestles together. So like you would pull this part out, tilt this down to get access to the button that's in there. So if I take this off for now, there's a corresponding key here, right there, that corresponds up inside there. So that goes there. So it's a little fiddly to get it all lined up. But actually it does line up pretty well once you get it. So you're moving along pretty quick on some stuff, and then you get to a spot like this where it's just like some fiddly stuff. This is probably the most fiddly part of the entire kit, is this area. Getting this all lined up. And then it's also important to do this several times so that when you go to do final assembly, you have an order in which to do things, because what you don't want to do is fighting fitment of parts after things painted. You want to know exactly how it all goes together and the order in which you're going to do things. I'm going to put this in here. Oh, that'll help align. Is that right? Is that how it goes? It says that how it says that's how it goes. Yeah. Okay, there. So it's probably easier to do this. Put this together with it out on the body. There we go. So you have this whole mechanism here, and that's just for this. So once you get that all glued together and fitting correctly, then you can slide this portion onto this. Like so. Okay, so now that's one piece, and that's just a hinge right there. It just drops down like that. Now, this little green hinge area plugs up into here, but since this is so tight right now, I can't work that hinge. I can put this part on and get in the close. Oh shit, I just broke that, so now I gotta fix it. Damn it. Oh, well that's a bummer, because now that's never gonna be as strong. All right, so now I gotta fix that, unfortunately. Bummer. Shit. Okay. So now I'm going to have to fix this, and I may have to reinforce it somehow. Oh, that really sucks. Okay. Anyway, that's a bummer that happened. Anyway, so those go together. Shit. First snafu of the kit, of this build. Damn it. Anyway, so that all goes together like that, and hopefully now, unfortunately, that broke. So now I get to fix that. Yay. I was trying to show you that all went together. Just put too much tension on it. I pulled on it the wrong direction. Yeah, just come on. Oh my goodness, come on. I had this all together. There you go. Anyway, so I think you get the idea, hopefully. I get to fix that. Ugh, that sucks. But anyway, sometimes shit happens. And that just happened. Anyway, so I think you get that, how that all goes together, hopefully. And that this plugs up into here. It allows this to pull out and open up, and these magnets correspond to this part. So it just keeps those, the top and the bottom, closed while this is all together. So anyway, I'm gonna keep working on this, and I'll come back once I get it all working. Okay, so we got this kind of put together a little bit better now. Let's take a look here. I'm coming in a little tighter. But this is how all this mechanism works. So I actually went ahead, and I didn't do this on the first one I did, but I glued some of these parts together. I'll show you how they come apart. So this is what it looks like when it's open. This is where the button would go for the head light, which is this little piece. I'm just probably just going to glue this in because we're not going to use it. But there's a lot of cool detail in here, so if you want to open this up, you can. This is where the cockpit would normally go on the Sazabi, as with most Gundams. The pot would sit in here, but there's no cockpit in this. This is just strictly for displaying this open if you want. There's this little part up here can rotate up and act as a kickstand. So if I put that down and I rotate this up, this rotates up, this comes down and pushes in. I gotta work on that fit. It's still a little tight in there. And then this comes in there. So I still got to work with some of this fitment, but that's how that works. And again, this is the most fiddly part of the kit. So we got all these overlapping parts. So this comes out. This part. Once this, I got to work on the clearance of this hinge a little more. I'm not going to try to pull that. That's how I broke it last time. I went ahead and reinforced that. That comes out, slides up, and this tilts down. So I did go ahead and let's see, glue this. This comes out. I went ahead and glued this part together so it's easier to work with. This will still be easy to paint because it's all going to be the mechanical colors. For this hinge is the hardest part. Put a little piece of what is this, like 1/32 plot plate to fix that side, and I'm going to work on sanding and clearing, making more clearance in here for that hinge. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. And I just got a few more parts to clean up. I did have another little snafu, a part that I actually cut in half that I wasn't supposed to, but I can fix it. No big deal, just a little piston detail that goes up in here. I misread the part number and trimmed it where I shouldn't have, but you know, that's okay. We're model builders. We got to learn how to fix stuff we break. But yeah, so I'm going to still work on getting this fitment better, but we're getting there. It's a little tedious, and eventually I'll have, I'll probably end up, this is supposed to come apart for access to the battery. I don't know, again, I have to consider lighting and all that fun stuff, but I can put most of this back together and show you what So, and also this little neck part cable comes in here and lines up with this. That comes in there, just like that. And there's this little detail part here that comes in here, like so. But yeah, so we're getting there. But yeah, at least most Philly part of the kit. Hopefully I can get this all done today, and then I can start working on cleaning up the arms and stuff. We'll see. But if I can get the torso figured out, that's pretty good. We're a little over halfway through the day. But I've been working till about 5:30 every day, and that's kind of like my stopping point. I'm putting in about 9 hours a day. It's kind of where my goal is on this guy. But there you go. So that's all that mechanism works. Don't know if my client will ever use it, but he has the option of opening that up and looking at all that, seeing that detail and everything, which I kind of like, because there's all those. I'll go in and paint all these little mechanical details and everything like I did on the first one, and it'll just be some more stuff to look at. But I'm just gonna keep working on fitment. Alrighty, well, I'm going to call it for today. It's a good place to stop. I could continue, but I got about 8.5 hours into today, so it's a pretty full day. So I finished this morning up by finishing this side of the skirt and cleaning up some more of the details, and the rest of the day was working on the upper torso. And as I was showing you, the hinge parts are just a little fiddly and stuff, but I got those to work well. And a couple things I did. There's a few little detail parts that I don't have in here, like. If you look here, there's a hole. There's a little detail part that goes there, and here there are 3 little piston details that go in there. I haven't cleaned up. They're just not in because they don't want to stay in. And I've got little detail parts here and here that aren't in. Again, they just don't want to stay in. And I've got one little part up here in the neck that I've got to fix. I accidentally cut this in half thinking it was a different part. So I've got to fix this and put it back together. And it goes up onto the neck when the head's put together. Another thing I did, and I didn't do this on camera, a lot of the stuff some stuff I just won't show because I've shown a ton of other videos, and so being such a long project, I just want to work. Added some magnets to these inner details so that I'm still kind of thinking lighting in the future. So all the wires are going to basically meet up here in the middle of the torso. So I want to be able to, I think I want to be able to have this be able to be taken apart in the future in case I have to redo an LED needs to be fixed or something. And I'm just thinking ahead in the future. I don't know if my client will have this thing on 24/7 or just once in a while. LEDs are supposed to last for like 10 or 20,000 hours, but I want to be able to have access to the wiring just in case. So I think I'm going to have this, have the capability to be taken apart. So sorry about the dog. So I just add some 1/4-inch magnets there, and I'll add some gosh, my dogs. I'll add some magnets or something to this top half to keep that together. But to be honest, once these side parts are on and the backpack is on, this doesn't come apart. But again, just planning ahead. Also, it's a plan for ease of assembly for my client when he gets it. So when you're doing stuff for other people, you have to take all this stuff into consideration. How are you going to take it apart and ship it? Do you have to be able to access areas in the future if needed be? Ease of assembly for your client. So you have to kind of think of all this stuff as you're building and putting stuff together for other people. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera. So, if it was just for me, I wouldn't have to worry about all that stuff because it would be here, and it's just I don't have to worry about it. But since it's for someone else, you have to take all that stuff into consideration. But he's looking really good. He's leaning way forward right now, as you can see. He doesn't lean this far forward. Again, there's no pins or anything in his legs. This is all just loosely fit together. So the one thing I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go get myself a small tabletop drill press so I can accurately drill a hole through both legs, and basically instead of doing pins, have a pipe going through the legs, because otherwise I have wires coming out everywhere. So yeah, the idea is that I've got wires coming down from here to this side. So like the left side and the right side are basically going to be like kind of independent of each other. And then that way I'll probably have to have 2 power outlets on the bottom of the feet, and I can do one cord and just do a pigtail, so that way they can be powered underneath. But I think just because there's so little room inside of this thing for wiring, I think I need to do like a left side and a right side, and I'm planning on routing the wires for these guys up. I'll probably drill some holes up underneath here and go into the torso. Again, once it's all together, we won't see it, but that way when my client gets it, the skirts can be shipped separately with a little mini plug. Can be plugged in. This can be kind of put on, and then the wires can be tucked up underneath the skirt where you won't see them once assembled. So, but yeah, he's looking good. Again, great kit, fun to do. I'm bummed that I broke that little hinge, but I was able to fix it and reinforce it, so now it's working. But we're looking good so far. So tomorrow, I think I'll start with the backpack and try to get some weight on the back just so it'll stand up, and we'll try to get that done. And I'll show you some of how the magnets and hinges work on that thing, but stay tuned for that. All right, day 4 on the NeoGrade 160th Sazabi. Finished yesterday by getting the upper torso all figured out and fitted together, and that's working now. I went out and bought a small drill press this morning so I can accurately drill holes. I never owned a drill press. I only ever needed one like less than half a dozen times, but I just went and got a cheap Harbor Freight one for like 95 bucks. So today we're gonna work on the backpack. So I should be able to get this cleaned up today and start on the arms. Here are all the parts of the backpack. And I like to kind of put all the unclean parts to one side and kind of move them over as I go. So again, it's going to be a lot of just sanding, rescribing and things. The cool part about this thing is that it's got these, again, these kind of 3D, I'm not sure how these are made, or these are 3D printed or what, but hinges that go inside each funnel system. And then the doors, I was playing with this yesterday a little bit. They don't quite, I think I had this same problem on the first one I did, that the holes don't quite line up with these pegs. So these pegs are fairly fragile, so I need to wallow out these holes a little bit more. Not much, looks like about 1/32 or 1/64 of an inch on one side, and that allows you to open and close these. But I don't know why you'd ever close it. You gotta, I mean, open is the way to go because you get to see all the fin funnels. The fin funnels are pretty simple pieces. They're just, there's no option to open them up. So they get this piece, and then each part has a center little laser guided thing that goes on the top. So the backpack's relatively simple. And what I'll probably end up doing is, again, so I can, if this ever needs to be taken apart, I'll probably add some magnets to the back of this to hold it in place. So this is going to fit in like this. Okay. And let's see if I got enough meat to put a magnet in. Maybe not. There may not be enough. It might be right there. Okay. But yeah, looks like I could probably sand this down a little bit more. It doesn't have to be exactly flush, to be honest, but that's going to key in there like that, and the fin funnel is going to come off. And you got the tanks coming off the bottom. So I'm going to start cleaning up. Again, it's scribing and sanding, so nothing new. But when I get ready to assemble this, I'll kind of show you how it goes together and where I wear it if I had magnets and stuff. So I'll come back in a little while, a couple hours, and show you where I'm at. Okay, just working on kind of some sub-assemblies here for the backpack. So I've only cleaned up this part so far, but the way this goes together is it's got these 2 side pieces, again, side specific, and they slide in here like this, and they actually kind of lock into place, which is kind of nice. But this will get glued on eventually. But the way the fin funnels work is these are the, I guess, the mounting blocks for them, which sit inside like this. Okay, so this will all be one piece and removable for shipping. Kit comes with an acrylic rod, which I've cut in half, and I've glued this peg in there already. And I slid this part together. There's no hole down here, but what I did is I slid this together and I held it in place and I drilled a hole down through this, which was already there, into here, so that when this is glued together, this will go in here and it'll fit in just like that. And it's got the angle built in already. So these are not posable. Everyone asks me, can you pose this kit? No, this kit has no posability. There's no articulation. A lot of Gundam guys want to play with their models and move them around and stuff. But this is simply a static model. So that's how that works on both sides. So let me show you what I did. So again, I got this acrylic rod. I cut it in half. I'm gonna just scuff up the end. I'm gonna glue into the other part, just so the glue has something to stick to, and just super glue. This is more than enough for this. And again, I always just test fit it. And there is a little resin sludge in there, so I'm just gonna drill this out just a hair. Get rid of that resin sludge, and now we got a nice fit. A little super glue here. And then as I put this in, actually rotate this to kind of help spread the glue out. So I give it a spin. And I got a little excess that oozes out. So I just take a Q-tip and I dampen it and I wipe off the excess. If I don't dampen it, cotton will get stuck in the glue. But if you dampen it, it'll wipe off. Just like that. You know, little spurts of accelerator. Put that to the side. This is the corresponding part to this side. Slides in. And what size is this? This is a, not that it matters because most of this stuff is in metric anyway. This is 13/64. So I just get the drill bit that's closest to it. And I'm gonna hold this into place really tight. I want to make sure I cleaned up anything that's going to prevent this from going in all the way. And I have this, the mold line came around this edge in here. Again, just hold that in place. Again, this will get glued in. This will get glued in. And then I'm just going to go in here and continue this hold down. I don't need to go very deep. Now, if I remember correctly, on the previous one I actually did add an additional metal pin into there, but I don't think I need that. I think this is plenty strong to hold that in. And that's how that works. So these go in like this, and like that. And that's how the fin funnel racks come off the backpack, just like that. All right, so I'm gonna continue sanding and cleaning up. I'll come back. Okay, so after a couple hours of work, I've got, sorry, keep my light. I've got one of the fin funnel racks cleaned up and put together. So, pretty simple piece. There are a few magnets that are supplied with the kit that are here and here, and that just helps keep these closed. They're not very strong, but they're just strong enough to keep it closed if you want to display it closed. And they don't line up exactly, and that's how it was on my previous one. Because I think more than likely, you know, you're going to display with it open like this. So you can see the fin funnels in the rack. So yeah, so that's what that looks like. And I did go ahead and put a pin in this just to help hold this together while I work. But yeah, there's one side done, looking good. And it goes in, like I said before. Let's see. Look at this. Like that. And then like that. So pretty cool. So I'm going to work on the second one. I went ahead and cleaned up these little detail parts that go in here. So this will get painted in. Goes in there, and there's another little one that goes where's it go? Right on the side here, this little guy. Just some mechanical details, so those are casted separately for ease of painting. So those go there. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put together, maybe I'll do one of the fuel tanks so you can see one side fully put together, and then I'll show you what that looks like, and then I'll just work on getting the other side done. But we're getting there. Okay, so one more time, I got the right fuel tank together. Let me show you how that goes together. So, got this piece that goes up under here. I'm gonna take this off so it doesn't fall apart on me. We'll put that up here in the prepped area. So this piece goes in here. I drilled a 5/32 hole through this part into this part. And it's pretty simple. I just have a 1/16 inch brass rod holding these together. It's really not really just to hold it. It's really just to hold it together. So when I glue it, they stay together. That goes there. 5/32 inch brass rod goes from here into here. This goes in here, and there's a key inside there for it to line up. And then it fits in here like this, and that's it. So this is a little loose right now, so I'll have to I'll figure something out. I'm not sure what's going on. My drill bit made the hole a little bit bigger than 5/32. But anyway, I'll get that to fit and stay. I mean, it's not going to fall out anyway, but I wanted it to be a little snugger fit, so when my client puts this together, it doesn't feel like it's going to fall out. But that's how the fuel pods go together. So I just got to repeat everything for the left side, and then the backpack is cleaned and prepped. Okay, so I'm about to wrap up for the day. I thought I would be able to get to the weapons, but not going to happen because I've been going back on the torso part a little bit and adding some magnets here and there, and I'm also doing some sub-assemblies gluing wise. So I just glued this portion on to this portion because these go the same color, black. Just use super glue. That's more than enough holding power for this. For 4 points of contact. That's what I did on the first one. It's way more than enough. And you got these big pegs. So I just let some thick CA kind of seep down in the cracks there, making sure it's not running out anywhere around the side here. Go ahead and hit that with some zip kicker. Now eventually when I start doing the lighting, I probably will hollow this out all the way through. Oh, I also added, just for now, just for some temporary holding power, a couple 1/16 inch brass pins to hold this on because I was putting the backpack on and I was wanting to pull apart. Actually, it may not even stay on the torso. I may have to do a temporary, but this is like where I want all the wiring to kind of meet up. So I'm just kind of, some of these pins are temporary just so I can work. And typically I'll do that with like a 1/16 inch brass rod, kind of like I did here. Let's see if I can get that to go. There we go. So it gives me just a little oomph to hold that. I added a few magnets here and there. 1, 2. Where's the other part? Where'd it go? Here it is. Just like that. So that way these parts can come apart later, and it's enough. By the time that, and it's a nice strong 1/4 inch magnet. With that and these magnets on the side for these parts. That goes there. This goes there. That's really solid. That's not going to come apart. This hinge area still needs a little work. I'm having some, again, I'm not sure how often he's going to want to open and close this, but if at all, but I want to make it functional to the point where if he does want to display with the kind of cockpit open, he can. Again, this is like the most fiddly part of the kit is right here. And these little hinges are what's kind of, they got to be in there at the right angle. And in those keys, just like that. Okay, so, and I've got this set up. So even with gluing some of these parts together, I got some pins in here. Those will stay. I glued those pins in. But I will not glue this part on as a final thing, because if I glue this part on, then sorry, I keep kicking the cord to my light. Then you won't be able to take that top and bottom off. But these pins will hold this piece into place just enough. Let's see. There we go. And it's just a pressure fit, just like that. So this is becoming more and more solid. So as I work, it's really, the whole thing's really kind of fiddly and not very solid. So as I go through the building process, I start to sure things up as I'm like start planning things. Okay, so that goes there, This will get attached to that hinge eventually. Sorry about that, my daughter just showed up. Now this whole top part's pretty solid. Now I don't know if this will hold the backpack without doing some pinning of the torso to the hips. Let's see. Get in there. I may want to pull it up. Let's see, because the backpack's heavy. And it just kind of fell apart. I just laid it down to put it down and it fell apart. There's that. I would like to put this on the kit to send a picture to my client of the backpack put together and on the kit. But again, none of this is really permanent yet. It's still kind of real fiddly. So it could all fall apart at any second. Let's see if this goes on here without pulling anything apart. Yeah, I'm going to do a nice big magnet or a pin. Okay. So it barely stays. But there you go. So that's the backpack on. I'm pretty sure if I go to spin this thing around, everything's gonna fall off and pieces will go flying everywhere. I have to get that backpack attached really well. I dare try to spin it. Let's see. All the little fin funnel tops popped out just a second ago, so I'm just going to put those to the side for now so I don't lose them. And we'll put the skirts on too so we can kind of get the full effect. I'll probably call this work in progress done here. I mean, again, all these steps are all the same. Just kind of, again, sanding, fitting, scribing. So nothing new between all the steps. It's just rinse and repeat until all the parts are basically dry fitted, sanded, and rescribed. And you can see he's wanting to lean to his right again because nothing is pinned. Like the legs aren't solid. They're really wonky right now. This is really just so I can send a photo of my client to show the backpack on the body. But yeah, so the backpack took till sometime after lunch to get that all worked out and fitted, and then the rest of the time I've spent just kind of shoring up the torso and stuff. But once all these legs are solidified and the ankles are solid, then he'll stand. He's standing more correctly now because there's weight on the back. There's more weight pulling backwards instead of all that weight forward. But yeah, I mean, his stance is a little forward on the ankles naturally, but now it's a little more balanced. But there you go. So I'm going to call this work in progress done. And the next one, I'll work on the arms and the armor. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one.